Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, Valley Strong Credit Union, California Resources Corporation, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, and Kern High School District, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Do the Math. I'm Michael, and in studio with us I have Emma. Emma, if somebody needed to contact us, what would they need to do?
For math homework help, call in Bakersfield 636-4357. Everywhere else, 1-866-636-6284. Email dothemath@kern.org. We're online at dothemathonline.net. And on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
All right, nicely done. So Emma, where do you go to school and what grade are you in?
I go to Actus Junior High, and I'm in 8th grade.
And those are the Actus Americans, am I correct? All right, so how is 8th grade going so far?
I like it. Yeah, I like it.
Is there anything you like more than anything else about 8th grade?
I don't know. I just really like, I like my math class. I like that class.
Okay. What kinds of things are you doing in math right now?
Algebraic expression, so like figuring out how to use x and how to find x in different problems.
Okay, so they give you a scenario and you need to make an expression out of it, and then eventually you have an equation where you might have to solve for that variable, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And what have you been doing in math before this? Do you remember like what has led up to this point?
We've kind of been doing that, and then we did real, rational, and irrational numbers.
Okay.
And then we did PEMDAS for a little bit.
So you remember, okay, so can you briefly explain what you mean by PEMDAS? Because there's some kids that may not know what you're talking about.
The order of operations, so it's like parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, and then addition and subtraction. It's how you do problems in order to make sure that everyone gets the same answer.
There you go. All right, so remind me, because we're going to modify that PEMDAS a little bit later on, okay? So remind me about that, because that's the way a lot of students learn it, but there's a little modification we're going to throw in there this time, all right?
Okay.
So we'll do a little bit of that later on. So you've been at Actus, I take it, for 7th and 8th grade?
Yeah.
Do you know where you'll be going to high school next year?
I'm going to Independence.
Independence. And is there anything you're looking forward to when you go to high school?
I don't know. I don't really think. I do think just like...
Is there anything you're going to miss about Actus?
Probably just my friends.
Just your friends. Well, some of them are going to probably go to Independence as well.
A lot of them are going to West.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It'll be fun when you guys see each other at different competitions and things
for
like
sure.
that. And, all right, good. Well, I'm glad you're having an enjoyable 8th grade year so far. All right. So we do have phone tutors available most Tuesdays and Wednesdays throughout the regular school year. Phone numbers are at the bottom of your screen periodically throughout the program. Don't forget, if you phone in this week and we do one of your math problems on TV, you'll automatically win yourself a pass to Autumn Nights, a brand new light show happening out at COM. So a lot of people are familiar with holiday lights at COM where you drive through. This is something brand new, started last week, and we had the Colonel down here, Steve Sanders, who is in charge of the train and very heavily involved with COM and Autumn Nights. That is going on through the end of October until the 30th. Happens on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights. All you have to do is call in. We do one of your math problems with you. You automatically go to Autumn Nights. Time now for today's Math in the News. All right, today's Math in the News. We had him on last week, back by popular demand. We have Rob Duco. How are you again?
Good, Mike. How are you?
Nice to see you.
Good to be back.
So you were here last week and we had overwhelming response about because Rob was on again and it had been so many years since you've been here. But first of all, SoCal Gas has been a sponsor of Do the Math for many, many years. And you're now partnering with Mind Research Institute on Math Week. So what got SoCal Gas involved with this activity?
Well, Math Week is something the Mind Research Institute has done in some other counties, and SoCal Gas helps support those efforts. And they were looking to move to some new areas, and so SoCal Gas worked with Mind Research Institute to come to Kern County and partner on this with the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, and to promote math education. Really hit it heavy this week.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with math activities to keep kids interested and engaged with a lot of different activities. Now, as far as SoCal Gas, what's your role with the company?
My role is public affairs manager. So I'm out in the community and working with community groups, nonprofit organizations, elected officials, just to keep the companies, keep us active and visible in the community as we do work and serve our customers.
If somebody wanted to get involved with SoCal Gas because they're on a pathway maybe towards that, what are some positions they could look forward to?
Sure. We hire a lot of engineers, which you need a math background, a STEM education background to work in engineering. But even if you wanted to be a field technician for us, there's really basic high school math is a requirement to be to fill almost any job that we have. When you're out in the field laying down pipelines and knowing what pressures are and what the diameters of pipelines are and what different pipelines can interface with other ones, there's a lot of math involved in that, even if you don't recognize it initially. And so you do need a math, at least a high school
some students
education.
might think, well, there's not really a lot involved in it. And then when you really take a look and get down to it, the things that they're learning in high school will be applicable to
Right.
entry-level positions.
Even as simple as digging a ditch to put a pipeline in. It has to be so deep and so wide, and if it's too deep, it may not be safe. If it's not deep enough, the pipeline may not be as deep as it needs to go. So there's some of the basics that you don't really think about.
All right, well, we're glad that you are on once again with us, and nice to see your involvement with Do the Math and with Mind Research Institute to bring along Math Week. Brandon is here with us from Mind Research Institute, and what is your role with that company?
I am the Director of Mathematics Innovation at Mind.
And you've been there for how long?
Coming up on 11 years.
All right.
A variety of different roles leading into where I am now, but it allows me to work on existing products, making sure that we're constantly trying to push the boundaries on how we get kids and families engaged, and then also creating and working on brand new products. So Math Week, for example, is one that started as the R&D project, and now we're at the point where we can share it out with families and communities at large.
Okay, so last week we spoke about Math Week coming up. Math Week is happening right
It's
now.
now. We're
Started
already
yesterday.
in it. Yeah, we're in it yesterday.
So briefly tell us, for people that may not have tuned in last week, what is Math Week? How does somebody get involved with it?
Math Week is an opportunity for kids and parents, older brothers, sisters, to come spend a week, celebrate math, but really celebrate family time. And so you're going to have a combination of some fun math games, storybooks from different places and different times from around the world. So you're getting that math, the literacy, the family time, and it's an opportunity to practice one of the most important things that families can do, and that is attitude is everything. And what I mean by that is when we engage, it's not always how well we understand the math or how good we are, or we think we are at math. It's our attitude. And so attitude wins. So this is a week to practice with the stories and the games, take the pressure off, just come and have fun.
And I think that's an important point, because there are a lot of students and they hear adults go, well, I wasn't very good at math. And they think, oh, well, I don't have to be very good at math either if my parents weren't very good at math. You never hear people go, well, I wasn't very good at reading.
You don't.
You don't hear that,
Yeah.
right? But they go, well, I wasn't really very good at math. It's just, it's a different mindset.
Yeah, and you bring up a huge point. There's research for all the moms out there. The role model that you are for your young daughters, that if you said, it's okay, I wasn't that good at math when I was a little girl either, it's like I want to make myself look old, but Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner style, where you just come right off a cliff, and it's down. It's not just a slow, gradual decline. And so the power for us as adults to be role models for engaging with math and enjoying it, that's really what Math Week is trying to make happen.
And talking about the stories, because now you're bringing cultural awareness into the home also with
Yes.
the different stories, because you've got stories and activities from around the globe.
Yeah, so all the games and the stories are grounded from countries from around the world. And so you're going to be able to experience a little bit about that history and culture through the stories, which we did last week when Emily read through the storybook.
Right.
You're going to learn about a traditional game that's been played, and then the whole storybook and the math are going to come together. And so now you're getting that math, the storybook, history, culture, geography, and everything's available English and Spanish, so you can engage in whatever language makes the most sense for your family.
Not a bad gig to get SoCal Gas involved in. Huh?
It is
That's
not a bad
great,
gig.
It's a great gig.
We're going to talk a little bit more about Math Week and the numbers and stuff like that, but I think right now, let's get you and Emma
Let's just play.
play a game.
Okay, do we want to have fun?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
this is, again, this is personally my favorite of Math Week. It's called Turtle Sums. The way the game works is you've got coins over on the side, and we need to fill in the turtle shell so that at the same time, all the sums matched up. So you said you were doing like algebraic equations. This moves into that in a really fun and playful way. So you can drag these coins here. We already have that 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. But where do these 3 and 4 go to make the turtle happy?
The 3 would just go underneath the 2.
And how did you know that? That was fast.
Just because 2 plus 3.
Oh, you're just trying to fill 5. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
And then this one would go right here.
Okay, let's try it. If you cross your fingers, I think it has better chances. Yes, we got the turtle smiling. Let's try another one. Go ahead and click to the next puzzle. This time, we only have one number given.
Yeah.
We used to have both. What's your thinking now? We've got 3 numbers to play with. We've got 3 spots for them to go, and we want to match all of the sums simultaneously.
Okay. So I think that the 1 would go right here by 3. Just
And what's your
because-
thinking on that one?
Just so that way 3 plus 1 equals 4.
These two, yeah.
Yeah.
So 1 plus 3 is equal to 4. Was there any other way we could have made 4 with what we had?
Not with
No,
the 3.
if I put the 2 and the 4, I'm either way too big,
Yeah.
and that's not going to work well for me. All right, let's keep going.
Okay. So I think that the 2 would go right underneath the 1,
I like it.
and then the 4 would just go in the last spot. Oh.
We're looking good. Okay, fingers crossed. You got to do it with me because it's a lot more fun. This
Okay.
is Math Week. We're having a good time. Yes. Let's try one more real quick. And now it's going to level up where nothing is given to you.
Okay.
So you talk about a system of algebraic equations. You've got to hit all of these sums. You've only got 4 places to go and 4 numbers to work with.
Okay.
Where's your head going now?
So I think that first I would want to figure out how to get the 5. So 1, 4, and 2 and 3 would go together.
Okay. So you're saying 1 and 4 are going to have to somewhere go in a row.
Yeah.
Somewhere. We don't know where yet.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then 2 and 3.
All right, so let's check here. We've got our sums going across. It looks great. 2 plus 3 is 5. I like it. 1 plus 4, 5. I like it.
And then 2.
Our diagonals
Yeah.
are a little
That's the ones
wonky.
that are gonna be messed up.
Our columns, but you have the rows.
Yeah.
They look great. We don't want to mess any of our rows
Yeah.
up because those are the only ways we could have made 5.
Hold on. So I would just flip these 2. So
All right, let's see.
Hold on. And then, hold on, that's still wrong. Okay.
I like where your head's at. You're doing
Yeah.
some incredible problem solving. I'm thrilled to see this. Oops, I got it backwards, so that's okay. Let's get this back up. Let's get this guy out of the way for a second. We know that these are 5s.
Yeah.
But we don't know for sure that 2 and 3 have to be on the top.
That's true.
It
So,
could be 1
yeah.
and 4. So we also have the ability to swap these rows.
Yeah.
Because we still won't mess up our 5s.
Yeah. And then the 2 would probably go in a spot, just that way we can make 4.
Ooh. Wait, could you say that again? I like what you just said.
The 2.
You tried the
Go in that
2
spot.
here.
Yeah.
And then you said, wait a second, I don't think I want it to be there.
Yeah.
And why didn't you want it to be there?
Just because 2 plus 2, in order to get, we would need another 2 to get 4.
I love this.
We don't have another 2.
Yeah, if the 2 was here, I would have needed another 2, but we don't
Yeah.
have one.
So then
I
the
am
1
liking your
would go
thinking.
Here, and the 4 would go there.
All right, are we ready to cross our fingers?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it. Yes. Now, for Math Week,
Yeah.
we could keep going through the next puzzle, but we can also amp it up to whatever level might work. So let's say you're playing with a younger brother or sister, and you're playing this, but you want to try something a little more challenging. Hit that settings button for me. We are on puzzle 3. Also, if you could hit that mode settings. We are on level 1, puzzle 3.
Yeah.
You could take this as high as you wanted to go. I'm going to go to kame. All of these words are turtle in a different language.
Oh, okay.
And Japanese is my favorite, so kame. So we're going to go there. And then you could solve all the way up for Math Week to beat the whole game, something I call 34 galore.
Yeah.
Everything is 34s. The little one in here is 34s, the diagonals are 34s, all the rows, columns, everything. You would have the choice
Yeah.
to take it as high as you would want.
Okay.
How did that go?
This or the?
Yeah, the puzzles that we just played, how did that feel?
I think on the last one I got a little confused just because I didn't think about switching them. But before that it was.
But your problem solving, that's what I love. If we take that mindset that learning is something that we build up, then we have to have really good strategies. And sometimes they're going to lead to wrong answers, but that's what learning looks like. And you modeled that so well. For all the families at home, I'm going to go and show us our Kern County Math Week site.
So,
this is exciting.
Right, because some people are going to go, hey, this is really cool. Where do I need to go to be able to play this with my family?
This is where you're going to go. You're going to be able to access all of this at home, any phone device. Even if you load this at school and your internet were to fail, these games can keep playing. So you can access this on as many devices as possible. We will give you the QR code, I believe, up on the screen at some point so that families will be able to go to it. You should also have flyers at your school or district websites. If you do need to type it in, we have the URL mindresearch.org/KernMathWeek, and we just put dashes in between the words. If you scroll down on this, I want to brag a little bit on Kern County. We're at day 2 of Math Week. Not even finished with day 2 yet. We are already approaching 100,000 minutes. That would be 20 family math nights in 2 days across the county. Our goal for tonight is to get to 150,000 minutes by the end of Tuesday, and we want to keep the good times going to get 500,000 for the whole week. And here's how you would do that. Go to the website and scroll down. If you'd like to learn even more about Math Week, you want to share this with your friends that they're not watching the show right now, we've got a video for you, English and Spanish. And then you just choose which day of the week. So we could say, oh, this is our first time coming, and it's just going to give us day 1. You can pick your grade and language, English or Spanish, and you tap on the card to turn it over. So that's how we're accessing this. If as a family, you say, well, wait a second, I'm not watching the show. How am I supposed to know to get access to any of these games or stories? When you flip the card over, there will be a storybook for you to read. In this case, the exact same storybook from last week.
Okay.
So you'd open the storybook, read it, it will let you know when to play the game, and then play for as little or as long as you want.
And that's as easy as it is.
That's it. It's that easy.
Because it's not very complicated at all. You just need to get to the site, and then you're off and running.
And you're off and running. At the end of the night, if you could fill out the gameplay surveys, that gives us an opportunity to see how you like the experience and what we can do to get better.
All right.
You will find that on the website. Emma, I really appreciate you coming and putting your problem solving on display. I mean, I was so impressed. We have a South of the Sahara game box for you. Same exact approach as the games we just played, but in physical form with storybooks, wooden pieces,
Okay.
and all of that. And I want to make sure that I give this to you. And thank you for
Thank you.
playing with me for a little bit.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks, Brandon, coming in once again and explaining a little bit about Math Week going on. Today's only day 2 of Math Week. It's going all the way through Friday, and all they have to do is get online.
Just get online.
And they're off and running. You can have fun just like Emma did with Brandon right there. Thanks again also to Rob Duco and SoCal Gas for sponsoring Mind Week with Mind Research Institute. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30 this evening. And last year we spoke about some of the language of mathematics. This year we're looking at some of the tools of mathematics.
I'm John, and we're back in the Do the Math Hot Rod Garage talking about the tools of mathematics. Drag racing is nothing but mathematics in action. We use math throughout the entire design of our race car and in its construction. We use a ton of math when we assemble and reassemble the engines that go into our race cars. And one of the critical components that we check are the tightness of the fasteners. We've got 4 fasteners on this main cap, and they've got to be tightened to a specification that the manufacturer gives us. These have to be tightened to 95 foot-pounds. Foot-pounds is a measurement of torque, the torque on the bolt, the clamping force that this nut is exerting through the stud down into the engine block. And we've got a special wrench that is today's tool of mathematics. This is a special wrench called a torque wrench. It allows us to measure the clamping force as we apply the wrench. There's a graduated scale here in foot-pounds. We adjust the wrench to the desired foot-pounds. In this case, we're going to torque those main caps to 95 foot-pounds. We just turn the wrench. We're going to start at about 65 foot-pounds. So now we've matched the 5 above the 60 line that tells us that the wrench is now set for 65 pounds. The torque wrench will give us an indication, an audible click, when it's reached the setting. I can feel that in the handle, and you can hear it. I'll tighten all of our fasteners to 65 foot-pounds to get us started. A nice smooth pull on each fastener. We're doing this so that the fasteners on the cap tighten evenly. Now I'll adjust it up about 20 more foot-pounds. We'll take it to about 80 pounds. Again, the same procedure. I've rolled the handle, increased it up to 80 foot-pounds, and we'll go back and go through our 4 fasteners again. Hear that click? I can feel it in the handle as well. That tells me that these fasteners are now tightened to the specification 80 foot-pounds. Now we'll take it up to 90. We go in these increments so it's a nice even clamping force on our main cap. Notice that the fastener is not moving very far now. We're just adding a little bit of clamping force to it. Now we're going to take it that last 5 pounds. A simple movement of the wrench. We're at 95. Our 5 is just above the 90 line. This would be our final torque for these main caps. Didn't move much. Our main caps are now all torqued to 95. Torque wrench. There's another example of a tool of mathematics that we use in the Do the Math Hot Rod Garage.
And nice once again to see John, our hot rod expert, right there with another tool of mathematics, the torque wrench. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30 most Tuesdays and Wednesdays. In studio with us, we have Joaquin. Joaquin is on air with us today, helping out Emma later on this afternoon. And Joaquin, this is your first appearance on Do the Math today.
That is correct.
And what is your role with the Superintendent of Schools office?
So I am a program specialist in mathematics, and I support teachers and educators in Kern County with teaching math.
And you were just out and about doing that today, right? Where were you actually?
I was in
today?
Delano today.
All right, there you go. So you guys get to have an opportunity to go all throughout the county
All throughout the county.
and help all of the schools and all of the teachers and help them with mathematics.
That's correct.
All right. Well, we're going to get you to work in a little bit.
Sounds good.
But
Sounds good.
first, we are fortunate enough to have from the Bakersfield Symphony Orchestra, Julia in studio with us today. Nice to see you.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
So what is your role with the symphony?
My role with the symphony is as a violinist and specifically as concertmaster, which is like the first chair violinist.
Oh, so you're the top of the heap, so they say, right?
Well, I have a great team, but yeah, I also have a lot of responsibility in that role.
And how long have you been with the symphony?
This is my 16th season.
And how did you get interested in music? Like, did you start young, like at 4 or 5, or was this during school or later?
Yeah, I was in a neat summer program is when I started, and I was 7 years old, almost 8. And I was able to take starter lessons in the summer, and then they had a wonderful program called a STAR program that helped me take private or small group lessons in the school as a kind of pull-out program. So that's how I got started.
All right. And do you play other instruments other than violin, or is that the one that's your instrument?
Well, this is pretty much all I play now. I can play a little piano. I really enjoyed playing the flute also through high school, but the violin takes a lot of my attention.
All right. What will you be doing with Emma today?
Well, I'd like to go over the basics of how a violin works, but then I'd also like to talk to her about how fractions can make some pretty interesting sounds on the violin.
All right. Take it away, ladies.
All right. So, Emma, you told me that you haven't played a violin yet.
No, I have
Right,
not.
okay, but I bet you've seen a violin being played.
Yeah.
Right? Do you have a basic idea of how it works?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So you can see pretty clearly that a violin has how many strings?
4.
4 strings. That's right. So with these 4 strings, we make 4 different sounds. From low to high. But surely you know that a violin can play more than 4 notes.
Yeah.
Right? How does a violinist do that?
You would like press down and or combine the...
That's right, that's right. So by adding fingers and pressing fingers down on each string, essentially what we're doing is we're shortening the string. And what happens to the sound when we shorten the string?
It becomes higher.
Yeah, right. Every time we shorten the string, it gets higher. So we can play scales like that on all strings and get a variety of sounds. But since it's Do the Math, I wanted to talk about fractions and how important fractions are in making extra sounds. So if we divide the string into fractions, exactly into fractions, we get a different kind of sound. It's sort of a whistly sound called harmonics. Those are called harmonics. So if we, for example, if you consider the string, let's take this second string, and we're going to consider that the string starts where it touches at the black point here, we call the nut, and ends at the bridge. I know you'll see a little bit more on the back and the front, but let's call that the length of the string. Can you point to approximately the halfway point?
Right here.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to put my finger right there. I'm going to play the string normally, and then I'm going to touch at the halfway point. And you might notice I'm not even pressing my string down. I'm just barely touching it with my finger. What's happened to the sound?
It's gone higher.
It's definitely higher, and in fact, it is exactly 8 notes higher. Like with a scale. I can press the string down. We call that an octave higher, 8 notes, and get that harmonic, or I can just touch it lightly and get that same sound. But of course, there are other fractions that we can divide into. So let's take, there are harmonics at the 1/3 length, which is right about here. Right? And if I lightly touch that, that's even higher than an octave, right? It's quite a bit higher.
Yeah.
And that makes us divide the string. If we've got 1/3 on this side, then how much of the string is left?
2/3.
2/3, right. So what happens, what do you think will happen if I touch the string at the 2/3 mark?
It's going to be a little bit lower.
A little bit lower?
Yeah.
Let's
right
try
there.
it. Wait a minute, that's the same. Oh, wait. Right? Because we're dividing the string, even though it's 2 different locations, we're dividing the string into the same 2 fractions, right? 1/3 and 2/3, and 2/3 and 1/3.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can also do that with quarters, right? Here's a quarter. So if we've divided, if I've shortened the string by a quarter, how much is left?
3/4.
3/4, right. So then, do you think I'll get the same pitch if I stop the string at the 3/4 mark?
Probably.
Let's try. Yep, you're right. And then there are also harmonics at the 5th. 1/5, but that means we should also get the same sound at which other points?
4/5.
4/5. Yes, and
1/6, like the,
well, we've got 1/5 and 4/5.
yeah,
But how else can we divide 5?
2/5.
2/5, right. Let me try it again. There's 2/5 and 3/5. So then shouldn't we also get 3/5?
And
And
2/5.
2/5?
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's, we can get that same note at 4 different points because of fractions. Okay, so now is your big chance. Now I want you to see if you can help me play a song using just these natural harmonics. So can we trade places for a moment?
Sure.
Okay. I put some cheats on my violin. You see a blue and a pink and a red. Okay? So the blue is where is a 1/5 mark. And the pink is a 1/3 and the red is a 1/4. So what I want you to do is just take your finger and just touch the string. Don't press it down, but touch it right over the blue. I'm going to play and see what happens. Lightly, 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 with just barely your skin touching. Ah, you did it. There's one. Now go to the pink. It's on the next string. Yeah. Good. And now red. Good. Making her debut. Here's Emma. We're going to do that again.
Okay.
Blue. Pink. Red. Now stay on red. Pink. Ooh, touch the second string. There you go. Now back to blue. Pink. Red. Emma, that's a beautiful rendition of what song? Do you know what it is?
No, I don't.
Oh, no. Hot cross buns.
Oh, okay.
Hot cross buns. 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns. You just did it. Terrific. Okay, so now I think we can trade places again.
Okay.
But what I want to do next is I'm going to try to blow your mind because we
Okay.
just played a tune using natural harmonics where the string is divided naturally into fractions. But we also know that we can press the string down and change the pitches to anything we want. So what if we tried to do both? What if we shortened the string with our heavy finger, but made a fraction with a light finger. Here I'm going to stop the string with a heavy finger, and then I'm going to add a fraction with a light finger. See what happened? Mm-hmm. Now we have different harmonics. We call these false harmonics because we're kind of cheating. We're stopping the string at different points, but we can play just about any high-pitched note we want. And I don't have to crawl all the way up to the very top of the fingerboard to get it.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good cheat, right? So composers have figured this out, how to use these harmonics to make tunes. So I'm going to play a short tune with first the normal fingering, and then we're going to see how it changes when I use the false harmonics. Here's a piece by Monty. This is just a short excerpt from the Chartish. Wrong with that tune, right? No. But let's hear how it sounds when Monty puts it in false harmonic language. How does that sound different to you?
It's a lot higher in pitch.
It's a lot higher in pitch. Do you hear the whistly sound? Mm-hmm. I think it's kind of perfect for October, sort of an eerie, Halloween-y kind of sound. Yeah, so fractions are an integral part of playing any stringed instrument, and you can make some neat tricks with it too.
Well, Julia, that certainly was enlightening. I even learn a little bit every time the symphony is in here, because octaves and harmonics and the false harmonics today with that. If somebody wanted to learn a little bit more about the symphony, and when you have performances coming up, where would they need to go to?
The symphony has a great website called bsonow.org. That's bsonow.org. All the information is there about our upcoming concerts.
Right, and the season has started, correct?
Yes, we just had our first concert just a couple weekends ago, and our next concert coming up is November 5th, and it's going to be a great concert full of American music, American composers, and a terrific piano soloist coming.
Can you give us about 30 seconds of some piece that you'll be playing at that performance?
Let's see. We'll be doing a little bit from The American in Paris by Gershwin.
All right, you know what? I mean, if I could, I would have the symphony in here for an hour every day that we're on, but we do have other things to do. But once again, bsonow.org, learn more about the symphony. That program, once again, is coming up on November 5th, correct?
Yes.
And those are always Saturday nights, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
All right, so it's very relaxing to me. I love the sound of the instruments when you guys come in, and I just really enjoy you guys coming in. So thank you, Julia, for coming in once again.
Thanks for having me.
We do have phone tutors available until 5:30 this afternoon. We've got Emma, an 8th grade student from Actus, in studio. Joaquin will be working on expressions with her when we come right back.
This class here, we go over the basic safety function, layout, preparation to help prepare our students for entering the workforce as an entry-level welder or in a fabrication shop.
My favorite part about this class is about being able to learn new things, getting dirty, working hard. Teaches you teamwork, teaches you how to prepare. A lot of what we do here is preparation, not just welding. Also gives us like a good example of like being in the workforce.
We offer a Toyota Safe Lift forklift training qualification, 2 different certs through the American Welding Society for structural steel, and we also offer American Society of Mechanical Engineers Section 9 pipe test to prepare them to go into the oil field.
Typical day, really noisy, a lot of sparks going everywhere, fire. We start our day off, go to the tables right here. We get a little talk in the morning, listen to the announcements, then we get dressed out, and then, we get straight to work.
If you're interested in working with your hands, this is a very good place to do that. Also, you need to have some technical background. You need to be fairly proficient with math. You need to know how to write properly because we have to fill out reports. You need to be able to follow weld procedures and also read a set of welding blueprints.
I like the blue collar work, and welding's always kind of impressed me that you can put 2 big pieces of metal together. The achievement you get after you get done with the piece and the nice bead looking on it.
I've learned how to MIG weld. I've learned how to stick weld, dual shield, use the torch.
I mean, pretty much everything you do here, you'll do at a shop.
We strive to have fun in here. We want to work safe. Safety is the main priority that I focus on in here because if I could teach a student how to weld but they can't do it safely, I'm not preparing them successfully to go enter the workforce. You got to work safe. We use a lot of equipment inside of our shop here that can potentially cause a lot of harm to students and those around them.
And once again, a big thanks to all of the staff and students at ROC and CTEC self-producing all of those videos this year. And we certainly do appreciate all of their efforts and their partnership with Do the Math through these many, many years. And we are celebrating year number 21. Don't forget, you call in and we do one of your math problems, you automatically receive a pass to Autumn Nights happening at ACOM, a brand new light show, and that is going on for this week and next week as well, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday evenings. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30, but more importantly, we have Emma, an 8th grade student from Actus, in studio with us. And you said that you had played piano a little bit.
Yeah.
And what did you think about the experience with the violin today?
I liked it. I thought it was interesting. I've never played an instrument like that before, so it was.
And I was actually surprised that she actually had you touch the strings and do a little bit of maneuvering over there.
Yeah, I did.
And you barely had to touch that string, or did you need to do a little pressure on it?
You like barely put your finger on it, and it changed.
So, do you think violin might be in the future sometime?
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, you never can tell, right? It's not a cheap thing either. You know, playing the violin. But anyway, in math, you've been working on expressions, correct?
Yeah.
And what do you know basically about expressions right now? What have you been doing a little bit?
We've kind of just been starting it, but it's basically just like, how would you take a problem where you don't necessarily have all the values and be able to substitute it for letters or symbols?
Okay, and then represent what they want you to do.
Yeah.
All right, well, how about you and Joaquin head over to the board and we'll put some of these up here that you've got out of your math book. So the first one we've got is the base price of a car plus 7.5% tax represents the total cost of the car. So what they want you to first do is write an algebraic expression to model that phrase. So we have the base price of a car plus 7.5% tax.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what would you think to do first?
So first I would want to change the 7.5% tax into like a decimal or like something to where you could write it into a problem, where it's
Okay.
just not 7.5.
Okay.
So would that just be like 0.75, or how would you do that?
Would that be 0.75? So sometimes having that 7.5% gets kind of tricky to think about, right? So what I like to do sometimes is think about something that's maybe not so difficult with a decimal there.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question. So this will be our side question, okay? How would you write 7% as a decimal?
Just 0.7 or
Would it be 0.7?
0.07?
Ooh.
Hold on. I don't remember
I'll
how
let
to
you think.
do these.
Okay, what does percent mean? If I take
One.
the word percent, what does that word mean?
Like, would it be out of every 100? Because
Yeah,
dollar.
out of
Yeah.
every 100. That's right. So this would be 7 out of 100, right?
Yeah.
So can I write that as a fraction? Is that okay?
Yeah.
So I could write this as 7 over 100.
Okay.
And in this sense, we can see this is 7 hundredths.
Yeah.
Do you agree? So how would you write 7 hundredths as a decimal?
So it would be point. Do you want me to write it?
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
So it would be 0.07
Yeah, yeah, because this would be, which place value would that be?
tenths,
And that would be the,
hundredths.
so going back to our original problem, right? This is our side question over here, just to kind of help us think about this a little bit, all right? Now, 7.5%. Our 7 is in our ones place for the percent,
Yeah.
right? But still a similar 7 to here. So how do you think you'd want to write 7.5 now as a decimal, knowing what you just did?
So it would be 0.75.
Ah, okay. So this one would actually be written as 0.075.
Okay.
Because the 7 is like your 7% from
Yeah.
7%.
Oh, okay.
And that would be our hundredths,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
But then we have 0.5.
Yeah.
And so that actually becomes our thousandths place.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Can I provide one tip?
Yeah.
When we're writing our decimals, let's keep our 0 in front.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. I've been a teacher before, and sometimes when I'm grading, I miss a little decimal.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
But with the
Yeah.
0, I go, oh,
That makes
right,
sense, yeah.
I got it. Okay. Okay, so we know that we can write 7.5% as 0.075, right? Okay, so are you okay if we just replace that in here?
Yeah.
Is that okay? All right, let's erase this with the magic of technology. Okay, so write 7.5%. Right underneath that, write that as a decimal. Fantastic job, fantastic. Okay, so now we can go back to how would we write the base price plus 7.5% tax?
So that would be our variable. Just
That would be our
because
variable.
We don't know exactly what it is.
Okay. You're right, we don't know what that is.
Yeah.
So what variable would you want to use?
We can just use B for base price.
B? Ooh, I like it. Okay. So we'll write a little statement. I'm going to write B equals base price. Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
Does that sit good? Okay. So what do we do next?
So then we would have to, it would be B plus, it would be 0.75, but it would have to be times the base price.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the tax is extra on our base price. So we'd have to do B plus 0.0, this is a squeaky marker,
Yeah.
75B, like that.
Okay.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to do with that?
I don't.
No?
I think you could. No.
No, you had a thought. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that you might be able to combine them just because they're like terms.
Ooh, could you? So what would that be if you were to combine them?
Would it be 0.075B, or would it just be?
Close. Think about this B. The B, are you familiar with coefficient?
No, we haven't gotten to that
Okay,
yet.
no problem.
Yeah.
So in front of our B, we have the value 0.075.
Yeah.
What value do we have in front of this B?
It's gonna be a 1.
It's going to be a 1. So when we combine these like terms, we're going to combine their numbers in front of the variable. That's
Okay.
called the coefficient.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the coefficient. So what's 1 plus 0.075?
1.075.
Yeah, yeah. So this all comes out to 1 7.0. How many zeros do I need?
Just one.
Just one. 7.5b.
Okay.
Do you feel good about that?
Yeah.
I feel great about that.
Okay.
You did a great job.
Nice
Yeah,
work
wonderful.
on that one right there. I'm glad that you spoke about how the tax had to be combined with the base price, because a lot of students might go, well, it's just B plus and then the tax rate, and that would be it.
Yeah.
But then you wouldn't get the whole thing solved right there.
Yeah.
All right, good. You ready for one more?
I
Yeah.
love the combining like terms.
All
That
right.
was a fantastic
So,
job.
Go ahead and erase the
Okay.
board.
You want to help me with this? So we can start with your
Sure.
eraser, and you circle it around, get the whole thing, finish the loop, and tap in the middle. Technology.
All right, let's take a look at number 9.
Okay,
The
what's number
base
9?
salary of $500 per week. So the base salary is $500 per week,
Does that
plus
sound
a
like lot of money to you?
commission.
Kind of.
Okay.
And there's a commission of 10.5% of sales.
Plus a commission
Of 10.5%
10.5%
of sales.
of sales. So we're just writing some things down.
And all of that will represent the total salary.
So represent the total salary.
Okay.
So we want to write this as an expression.
Yeah.
Okay. You're doing amazing. What do you think?
So I think that I would just start the problem with $500, and then it would be times the per week.
Times the
So-
per week. Okay. What do you
Are we
think?
are we trying to find the how much money they're making per week?
That's a great question. Are we trying to find how much money they make per week?
Right, because we want to get the total salary.
Okay.
Total salary. Okay. But we don't know how many weeks, huh?
No. Yeah.
So could that be a variable?
Yeah, it could.
Maybe. Okay. That could be a variable.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? So how would you want to write that? That 500 per week.
It would be like 500p
500p? What would p be?
for per week or
Okay,
W
so
or
I'm going to write p equals number of weeks. Is that what you were thinking?
yeah.
Yeah. And so I would do 500 times that? Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. So 500p. Okay.
Yeah.
Now what?
Then you would take. It would have to be. You would take. So you would change the 10.5 into a decimal or
A
somewhere.
decimal?
Yeah.
Okay, what would that be?
So would it be like 1.05 because before it was the 1 was in the
Right, so
tens
last
place.
time we had 7.5%, right? And we wrote that as 0.075.
Yeah.
So for 10.5%, how would we want to write that?
Would it just be like
Go ahead. Okay.
6?
Now keep in mind that our 7
Yeah.
acted in our hundreds place, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That sounds to me like a thought.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna let you finish your thought. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because in our ones place is our 0 now, right? For the
Yeah.
percent, so that's gonna go into our hundreds.
Yeah.
And this 10 in our tens place is gonna move to our tenths spot.
Okay.
So 0.105. Okay, you're doing fantastic. What next?
So then I would add.
Okay, so you want me to write plus?
Yeah.
Okay, plus
0.105,
0.105
but then it would have to be of the sale.
of the sales.
Yeah.
So do we know how many sales
We
they
don't know
make?
how many sales.
We don't
there
know.
were.
So what does that give us?
We would need another variable.
Another variable.
Yeah.
And is it okay if I erase the percent
Yeah.
work here? Fantastic work. I hate to erase it. It's so beautiful, but we need the space. So what do you want to use?
We can use S for
S.
sales.
Ooh, okay, so S equals sales. And so this would be 500p
Mm-hmm.
plus 0.105, then what?
Times S. or
Is-
just the S afterwards.
Just an S right afterwards.
Yeah.
Can you tell my 5s from my S's?
Yeah, you can.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure it was nice and clean. Okay, so $500 per week plus 10.5% of sales.
Yeah.
And I think we've got the expression.
Nicely done. And I'm
Yes.
glad you brought up the difference between the 5 and the S, because sometimes when students get writing quickly, it's hard to recognize which one
Yeah.
they want or which one they mean. And then when they try to transcribe it to something else, sometimes gets a little confusing. Emma, you've done some great work so far this afternoon, and for your efforts, you've got a meal courtesy of our friends at the Broken Yolk Cafe, so congratulations on that. Do me a favor, erase the board, and we're going to go into something a little different, but this is going to help you when you are solving equations. Earlier, you said you were talking about PEMDAS.
Yeah.
So maybe if you guys just write up that up there, PEMDAS, maybe just going down, Joaquin. There you go. And
Now,
Emma,
can I-
explain,
Can I write it in the way that it should be written? Is that okay?
please do. And then Emma, explain what Joaquin is putting up there and what that represents.
Okay. So it's basically just a way, it's order of operations, so it's just a way of doing the math problem, like the order in which it should be done to make sure that everyone gets the same answer.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Very important.
So the P stands for parentheses, the E stands for exponents, the M and the D stand for multiplication and division, but they're just done left to right, not in that order.
Whichever one shows up first.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the A and the S stand for addition and subtraction, which are also done left to right.
Whichever one shows up first.
All right, so Joaquin, if you
Yes.
could, next to that, off to the side a little bit, we're going to
Yes.
put something up there that I know has been introduced a couple of times on the program, and it's kind of a movement in mathematics, so students see some other things that need to go with order of operations. So instead of P, we're going to put a G up there, like in goat.
Interesting.
And then instead of just the E, we're going to put E and R next to each other. And then
Okay.
we'll leave everything else the same. So the
Okay.
multiply, divide, add, and subtract. And before I put you on the spot, are you familiar with what we're trying to do here with these additional letters and the changing of the P to the G?
I am.
All right, so why don't you take it away and kind of work with Emma a little bit, and I will give you guys 1 minute to kind of go through this. I know it's a quick one, but it's going to be a brief little explanation.
Okay. So I don't think we'll have time for a sample problem,
Yeah.
but we'll talk about it. So our parentheses, what falls under the group of parentheses?
Brackets.
Brackets. So we have our parentheses, we have our brackets. What else do we have?
I'm not sure that's the only ones that we really
Okay.
covered.
There's another one that you might not have seen yet called braces. Not the
Oh.
braces in your mouth, but the
Yeah.
braces look like that, right? But only one of those is parentheses.
Yeah.
Right? This is a P, that's a B, that's braces, another B right there. So what the movement is and what the suggestion is instead of saying parentheses, where sometimes we get hung up only looking at parentheses, this G stands for grouping symbols.
And then we'll go right to the R.
Yes. Now the R stands for radicals. So there's not just exponents. For example, is it okay if I use a variable?
Yeah.
Something like x squared.
Okay.
But we could also have something like the square root of x.
There we go. That's exactly what I wanted you to get to. And I know it's kind of quick and brief,
Yeah.
but just to get it out there again, and we'll address that on some other programs. Emma, did you learn a little something today?
Yes, I did.
Did you have fun today?
Yes, I did.
And I'm sure you really like doing that violin bit over there. That was pretty
Yeah,
cool. I
that was-
love it when the symphony comes in to join us. And you even got some games to take with you from Mind Research Institute, part of Math Week. Don't forget to get on that. Until we meet again, continue to do the math.
Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, Valley Strong Credit Union, California Resources Corporation, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, and Kern High School District. with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.